obviously as a leader, you know you need to use AI, but sometimes I know it can be quite hard to get started and get your team to adopt it as well. So what I wanted to do today is share a few things that we've done at Ivy to improve adoption across the team, and also some ideas of what I've been using AI in my day-to-day. So I hope it's helpful and I hope it prompts loads of conversations as well. So, obviously, as performance director, I like to measure stuff. And so what we did is we created a monthly AI survey that we run in the team to measure adoption, but also to see how we can improve it. So first of all, what we measure is the frequency, and we found that it increased. So we started at about 75% of the team using AI once a week or more. I think it was March last year. Now we're at about 90% of people using it pretty much every day, several times a day. So that's pretty good. We also found that the team are using it more in depth as well. So we all started with like content and playing around with some images, but now we use it for like strategy, for brainstorming, for anything really. So that's really useful to kind of go a bit more in depth. Tools as well are more varied of what we use. So we have a paid subscription on ChatGPT, but recently we also got one for Claude because we found that it's really good for coding, also amazing writing style, funny enough. So we found like trying different tools. We keep reviewing new tools as well, so that's always useful. There's loads of really cool stuff out there. Then we also use it more across like different clients to try and drive like efficiency and performance. We also review the benefits. Most of the benefits tend to be saving time, but also getting better ideas, interestingly. And also we try to measure the performance from it as well. So see like, is there a difference in performance when we use AI on something? And finally, in the survey, we also ask the team what are the next tools that they want to use just to keep innovating, keep like discovering new things. We will share the survey with you after the event if you want to just copy it. Really, it's really useful to measure and see like how the team. Make sure that you take the team with you as well on that. Okay. We built a task force. So obviously, as a leader, again, you know that you need to get the team to use AI, but I know it can be quite hard with adoption. You always have people, I don't really know what to do, or it doesn't have the right number of fingers on the images. And so it can be quite hard. And if you're, also if you don't necessarily have the knowledge yourself, that can be quite hard to then push the team to do it. So we created a dedicated team, AI task force, to try and push this innovation with like people who are really keen on this, and then the idea is to share across the team as well what we discovered. So we picked people who are obviously naturally curious around technology, AI. If people are interested, it's not going to be a chore. They're more likely to kind of get stuff done, really. Then AI takes a lot of trial and error as well, so you have to have people who are happy to take on a challenge and are not going to be like, oh no, I'm not sure I can do this. So it fits well with people like this, or who have like a natural ability to solve problems, because you do have to be like curious and try to do that. Also, it can be a bit difficult sometimes with AI, and like a lot of trial and error as well, and like learning and failing. So you have to have people who can be quite resilient and who are not going to abandon and who can go outside of their comfort zone as well. And finally, what we found is try to get different types of people, people from different departments as well. Because for example, if you only had marketers in your AI task force, they're only going to do stuff for marketing, and they're not going to think, oh, what could we do for sales, or what could we do for customer service? So try to have people with like different views, different experiences as well, to have a bit of more of a variety of things that you can do. So obviously we do have a few rules around this AI task force, just to make sure that they stay focused on stuff that's going to help the business, help the revenue as well. So we have monthly meetings where we review actions, and we've got deadlines, just to make sure people are, accountable for actually making stuff happen and deliver some progress as well. We share innovation as well within these meetings, but also through with the wider team. So we'll have our weekly team meetings where we share some stuff. We've got a Teams channel as well, just to make sure, again, you want the AI, you don't want just the AI task force doing AI stuff and then the rest of the teams aren't doing anything. So you want to make sure it kind of gets shared across the team. Obviously, for this to work, you really need to make sure your teams have time to explore, and they can kind of carve some time out of their day-to-day. We have a standard of 8 hours of development of learning for a month for everyone in the team. So we use that time to then do this. Otherwise, if they're too busy, it's just not going to happen. Then again, I was saying, you have to make sure that the wider team benefits from that. So we've got we make sure we do training, so show and tell. We've got breakfast training sessions as well, so making sure we spread the knowledge. And finally, Pete, operations director, and myself, we join the monthly meetings just to make sure that they stay focused on the right things. And because, sometimes AI gets really excited, sometimes oh yeah, let's do this really cool thing. And then Pete and I will be like, yeah, is it going to drive revenue for clients? And, what's it going to do for us? So just making sure, and also prioritizing, because there's so much out there. Sometimes it's a bit overwhelming as well. So we're here to help, no, let's do that first, and then we'll look at that other thing later on. Okay, so hopefully the survey and the task force can give you a few ideas. Maybe you'll want to implement that in your companies as well. But obviously as a leader, you know the potential of AI, but you might not be aware of all the ways that you can use it, and also carving time. I know you're all very busy people, so trying to carve time to kind of play around with it and have a look at it. So I thought I'd share a few things that I've been doing. There's way more that you can do, but a few things that I've been doing, and hopefully that can inspire a few ideas. Chris just showed a lot of content. All websites need writing by experts. You might be requested to write some stuff for your website, or other things. You might be very busy, and so it's I don't have time to do this. So I've used a few different things. So here it's an example of deep research. I don't know if any of you have used that. So it's a tool within ChatGPT, and also Gemini has that. It is really cool. So basically, you just give it a prompt, and then it will go and do the research for you in minutes, instead of you'd take hours to kind of do all the research on that topic. It will give you data sources and a guide of all the stuff. So I've done this here, and then what I did is I used this data to write kind of a detailed blog. So I used ChatGPT or Claude, gave it to it, and was oh, give me a structure, and then go and write it. And then at the end, I can review it, put case studies in it, or make it a bit more give my own expertise to it, so that it's not just AI throwing stuff. But I had a really nice piece of content, and instead of taking days to kind of do all the research and stuff, it was fairly quick. So that was really cool. Even if you don't want to write something, you can use deep research to learn about any topic, basically. So it's really interesting. Then strategy and ideation as well. So here I just used Claude to do a backronym for our company values. And so I just asked, give me 3 different ideas, and I just picked the one that I liked. It varies, instead of you racking your brain oh, don't have time to do this, just very simple thing. And then here is an example of Gemini as well. They have, so ChatGPT, they've got custom GPTs where you can do a custom kind of chat specifically for a specific task. Gemini has the same thing, they're called gems. And here it's a brainstormer. So if you just want to brainstorm, you just go on it, click the brainstormer thing, and you can ask questions. So here I needed a few ideas of, like, we do monthly trend articles. Nothing amazing in here, but sometimes it just sparks ideas. So I'll just look at this. I might not use any of these, but I'm like, oh, well, actually, no, I could write like this. Or so if you don't have much time, you can just use it as someone, even as if you were going to talk to someone, basically, like run some ideas through it. So really useful. Obviously, I do a lot of performance, so I review a lot of graphs and a lot of data, and sometimes I'm not really familiar with like specific concepts or how to interpret some of the data, and so I'll just go into ChatGPT and ask it. Here is a great example. I had like some metrics from the ONS, and the ONS is great, but it has a lot of like acronyms and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't really know what that means. So I'll just go on ChatGPT, ask it, hey, what is this? What does that mean? How would you interpret this? And it's really useful. It saves a lot of time, and I don't have to do too much research on that. I still do the analysis afterwards, so ChatGPT doesn't do everything. Another one that I think you might find useful, obviously part of my job is to share a lot of information with the team, understand trends as well in digital, what's happening. And so I use a lot, like ChatGPT, a lot to summarize things. So if I find a really cool article, I'll just say, I'll summarize this, I'll put it on the Teams channel for everyone, and then they've got like a nice summary. Or if I don't have time to read it, can you just tell me what it's about? And then it's like, it's a nice one. And then I don't know if any of you have used Notebook LM. It's quite cool. So it's a Google tool. And so basically, here's like, I've put the prompt. So what you do is you input some data sources. So it could be a PDF. So here I had this 300-page report from the World Economic Forum about jobs and AI. And I mean, who's got time to read 300 pages? So I put it in there, and then you can just ask questions about it. I needed to write a blog about it, so I was like, oh yeah, so what is it for like marketing and sales jobs, and what can you tell me about this, and what are the stats about that? It will give you like the information, it will give you the sources as well, and then you don't have to read it. You can even create a podcast from this in minutes. So I put it in there, it created a 10-minute podcast with like two excited American, unfortunately you can't choose the accent on this one, but two excited American people talking about like jobs and AI. So even if you don't like reading stuff, you can just put it in there and you can just listen to like the 10-minute podcast. So it's really useful for busy people. And yeah, so there's loads of like really long reports as well. So it's quite cool. And also it's Google, so take it with a pinch of salt, but they say they don't train their model on it, so it should be okay to put like stuff in there. And finally, another interesting one was people management. So I provide a lot of feedback to the team, and sometimes I felt like, oh, I've already said that, I've been repeating myself a little bit here. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I can use ChatGPT here to help me out. So I gathered the feedback I'd been giving, because I do it usually by email. I anonymized it, obviously. And then I asked like ChatGPT to provide me with a summary of it and like look for patterns in the feedback, and then identify where I could help the team improve. And I was quite impressed with it, because obviously it's quite good at identifying patterns, and because I'd given quite a lot of feedback, so it was quite hard for me to see, oh, where are people struggling a bit more. And then at the end, it gave me like, okay, so you should do training on this, and then these people struggle with that, so you could do this. And I thought that was really useful. So again, another like interesting one. Obviously, try to anonymize it, because you don't want to put confidential information in there, but. Yeah, I thought that was quite useful. So there you go. Hopefully that was useful. In the discussions coming, I would really like to hear like how you've used AI. If you've got questions on the stuff that I've shared as well, like let me know. Obviously this picture was done with AI as well. But yeah, hopefully that was useful. And yeah, like do tell me how you do it as well, because like I said, there's a million things you can do with these tools. So yeah, they're really good. Tell me how you do it as well, because like I said, there's a million things you can do with these tools. So yeah, they're really good.